Hello, everyone, and welcome to our training, our expert training today on the Global Club for Writer Gal's 5-step success formula for writing better website and blog content. So I'm going to let you know a little bit about where we're going. But first, let me say hi, Ashley.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here with us today. And so I'm curious, ladies, are you losing customers? We all know first impressions are everything in business. So when your website isn't well written or has embarrassing spelling and grammar mistakes, you're losing clients. Oh, how, yes, embarrassing. So today we're going to have Ashley share the 5-step formula she uses for her clients to help you write better website and blog content that resonates with your audience, evokes the right emotions at the right time, and ultimately turns them into customers, clients, or advocates for your message. Her formula works for writers of all skill levels, which is amazing and important because I know we are all of different skill levels. We talked in the podcast around, are you a bad writer? I said crap writer, good writer, or a great writer? And you probably have put yourself in a certain category. So let's just hear a little bit more about Ashley, because we want to know, why bother listening to this wonderful writer gal? Well, she is a Jane of all trades writer and online marketing consultant with 13 years experience helping businesses use words to communicate their message, attract the perfect clients, and increase their marketing ROI, return on investment. So she's worked on website content, blogs, social media, case studies, brochures, white papers, and so much more. And I guess the so much more also includes the Dynamic Women website, and soon to be my content as well. Which I'm very excited about because I'm an okay writer or a good writer, and she's going to make it great for me. A little bit more about her: after having her second child, her kids are now 2.5 and 4.5, if you're watching this in 2018. So she decided to leave the 9-to-5 behind to open Writer Gal Marketing Services, and now she helps clients with all kinds of writing and content marketing projects. She lives in New West, BC, with her husband, her 2 kids, and her Jack Russell named Bones. I thought maybe he was going to have a name that was more like writing connected. No. Okay.
No, it's Star Trek reference.
I'm not into Star Trek. So for all the Star
Trek, doctor in the original Star Trek, his nickname is Bones, and we thought it was
about all I can do. Yeah, that's about all I can do. Okay, good. Let's have you share your slide deck, and we'll have you. I'm going to go to speaker view, and then I'm going to kind of pass it off to you. I have to probably allow you to do that. So give me just 1 sec.
Okie dokie.
Manage. I need to just probably say you can share. No, I don't. You can do it. I don't have to.
Let's see.
I've maybe done it before.
Main screen.
There we go. Okay. So I'm going to mute my mic. And we'll let you go to full screen here.
Okay, let me just switch things around. Perfect. Gotta love double monitors.
Nice. Okay.
Without them.
Yes, and if you're curious about it, you need to reach out to Ashley about it. Okay, let's go. 5-step success formula for writing better website and blog content. Take it away, Ashley.
Okay, so I'm a writer, but I'm going to start with some numbers, because numbers have their place. So apparently, users will only spend about 5.59 seconds looking at your website's written content. That's not a lot of time to attract them and to get them going. So you need to make sure that those first 5 seconds, that first impression, is critical. So I know a lot of us on this call are business owners, entrepreneurs, and we often feel that we're expected to be everyone in our business: the accountant, the salesperson, admin staff, even your writer, even if we don't have the skills to do those roles. Now, I know we've talked about this before, I know writing's difficult for many people, and I'm not perfect at it either. I have my struggles. But I wanted to share my 5-step success formula with you today to help make it a little bit easier. And for those that are in Diane's upcoming book collaboration, I've got a little tip here on how to write your content for the book as well. So I'll share that a bit further on. So on today's agenda, We're going to briefly talk about why good content and writing matters for your business, why it's important. I'm going to share the 5 steps that I take when I'm writing my own content or clients' content. And I'm also going to share my self-editing checklist, things that you can use to edit your own content. And I've also got an early Christmas gift that I want to share with everybody. So, as consumers, we don't often know what makes bad writing. We just know it. And how do we know it? Because when you go to a website, this is the feeling that you get. Ugh. You know, it's maybe the website's full of lingo that you don't understand, or it's too salesy and you don't like being sold to. Maybe the writing or the way it's laid out doesn't feel genuine. Maybe it doesn't speak to what your needs, your wants, your desires are, or maybe it's just a visually ugly website. Now, I'm not going to get into the visuals of website because that's a whole nother can of worms. But if someone comes to your site and they get this feeling, they're gone. It's going to turn them off. People aren't going to like you. And if they don't like you, they won't trust you and they won't buy from you. So here's some stats that I actually found yesterday. Americans spend 22% of their workday reading. And bad writing costs American businesses $40 billion every year. So this is the time that you're wasting reading emails that are difficult to understand, reading business correspondence that sends the wrong tone or the wrong message, and even weeding through pages and pages of website content just to find what you need. So essentially what you need to do is you need to make people like you. And how do you do that? Well, the best way is to know what they need when they need it, which leads me to step 1 of my 5-step formula. Know your 5 W's and your H. So this is essentially going back to the basics. You need to know who your customers are now or who you want them to be in the future, so your ideal customer. You need to know what their pain problems are. You need to know when they're ready to buy from you or hire you. Where are they looking for the solutions to their problem? And why? Why are they looking into your solution now? What or who is influencing them? And ultimately, how? How can you be in that right place at the right time with the right information? So that's essentially what we're focusing on today, is how to be there when your clients need you. So to light a little fire under you or give you some motivation or a goal, in your website, you're against the clock. There's another stat that says you only have 59 seconds to convince someone to stay on your site. Now that takes into account design as well as writing. And writing is only about 5.59 seconds, like I said before. So people will leave your site if you're not what they expected. That's first impressions. If they can't find what they need, if they think you're not genuine, or even if it's riddled with spelling errors. Spelling errors make you look amateur. So what you need to do now is you need to build your trust and you need to build up your KLT. So what is your KLT score? I know KLT is something that Diane talks about quite a bit. Humans, we're very emotional people, and women, quite honestly, are very emotional people as well. It drives a lot of the decisions that we make. So as writers and business owners, we need to understand this emotion and we need to cater to that. So you need to make sure people know that you exist and know what you do. You need to make people like you as a person. This is where emotion and intuition really come into play. And you need to make people trust you. They need to trust that you're going to provide them with a service or a product that's what you advertise it to be. So once you've got all these, that starts raising your KLT score. One of the ways that you can start making sure that you are catering to these customers is by personifying your audience. Now, a lot of us who have businesses have probably written a business plan. This is essentially what you've probably done in your business plan already, but I'm going to take it a step further and off the page and have a little bit more fun with it. So before you write anything, you need to know who you're writing for. You need to create a profile of these people. You can include things like you need to know what they need to know, what information they need. You need to know their budget so that you're pricing appropriately. And you need to know what influences their buying decisions. Other things that you should consider in your profile is gender, age, religion, where they live or work, which of your competitors they frequent, and very importantly, their pain points. So ultimately what I'm saying is you need to know them inside and out. And once you've done this, your writing will be more targeted to your target audience and you'll attract your target audience. So I want to introduce you to Angela. Angela's a 35-year-old mom with 2 kids, and she's been a realtor in Vancouver for 5 years. Like many of us who are entrepreneurs, she loves her job, but she works really long days, and she wants to spend more time with her family hiking and baking cookies on the weekends. She considers herself to have average writing skills, but she is willing to pay somebody $500 to help with copywriting for her small website. So Angela is one of my personas that I've created for one of my ideal clients. And this is something that I'm going to encourage everyone on the call today to do. Go to a stock photo website. One of my favorites, and it's free, is unsplash.com, unsplash.com, and find an image of someone that could represent your ideal client. Print out their image and do what I've done here. Write everything about them and go into more detail than I've done here. I just did a couple of bullet points for Angela. Make more than one persona if you need to. And then once you've written them out, print them. Put them up at your desk. If you're an artsy person, color it in, doodle on it, whatever you need to do. And then when you're writing your content, read it out loud to this person and imagine how they're reacting to what you're writing. That is a great way to feel like you're writing to somebody specific when you're really sort of writing a broad piece. So it helps craft your writing. Another thing that will craft how you're writing is to write for your funnel. So a marketing funnel is essentially the path that you want to lead people through from becoming a prospect to a buyer or a customer. This is a stat that I love using. It says 47% of people will read 3 to 5 pieces of content about you before making a buying decision. So this speaks directly to this marketing funnel. So here's a very, very basic marketing funnel. So new prospects come in the top. This is generally their first exposure to you, your business, maybe even your industry. The type of content that you're writing for these new clients needs to be more general, higher level details, and perhaps explain some of the lingo a little bit more so that they can understand. As they move further down the funnel, you can get more specific, go into more details, start sprinkling in those call to actions to buy. This is where you're really going to build that like and that trust factor. And then eventually they'll become your customers or your clients. So that's a little bit about the background. Now I'm going to start talking a little bit more about step 2, which is understanding the medium that you're writing for. And today we're going to focus on online. In online content, people expect information, a lot of information, in a little bit amount of time. There's that 5.5 second stat again. So you need to know how people are reading and interacting with your site so that you can write the content they need where they need it. So when you're writing, I'm going to talk a little bit about some formatting styles that you're going to want to consider for online content. This applies to blogs, website content, anything that's read online on a screen on a device. Shorter sentences, 12, 15 words each. Shorter paragraphs again. People don't like to read full screen lengths full of just content. We need white space, otherwise our brains just explode. I don't know. Bullets and lists are also super important for doing that. It helps with people that scan content to on pages. I know as a writer, people won't read everything that I write. It makes me sad, but it's a reality. So I still want to make sure that my message and my point is getting across. So bullets and lists, your eyes are drawn to that kind of content. So you can put important content there. Likewise, use subheadings. It helps people find what they need on a page really quickly. I'm also throwing in a few tips that you can use anywhere, but they are specifically important for online content. Use plain language and simplify when possible. For example, don't say things like, you are able to do this. Just say, you can do this. Don't use 3 words when 1 or 2 can do. So that's one way to simplify some language. Avoid repetition wherever you can. Things are online. Excuse me. So people can go back if they need to read something. And another one is use the inverted pyramid storytelling style. This is where the most important information is at the top. For people that are only going to read for those 5 seconds, they'll still get that information. And then get into more general, broad information as you move on. Also, when you're writing, I love this photo, is you need to focus a lot on emotion and the outcomes. And this is another thing that Diane talks about quite a bit as well, is so people, again, we're emotional, and as a consumer, we do need to be reminded sometimes of the end result of your product or service and why we should buy from you. So focus on that end result. In your writing, tell them, this is how you will feel by buying my product. This is what will change when you hire me to do your writing. This is what will be eliminated. So focus on feelings and end results more. Make sure that your writing is also writing directly to solve their pain points. And if you have trouble with sort of understanding what your audience may be thinking or feeling or their pain points, look to testimonials that people have written about you or what people are saying about you. That's a great way to get real data about how people feel about you and your services and how they feel about themselves after they buy from you or hire you. So there's one more thing I want to talk about before we get into putting those first words on paper, and that's one more audience that we need to cater to. The Googles. Google is your customer too. So you need to make Google happy. And that's where SEO comes into play. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because it's a whole nother can of worms again. But SEO is search engine optimization. It's how you write and design your website to make it attractive to Google and show up in search results when people are searching for certain keywords. So you'll need to do some research into what those keywords are, and there's various tools to do that. You'll need to work your keywords naturally into the content. Usually about 2% is all you need. So if your keyword is Vancouver writer, I would need to work Vancouver writer in about 2% of the content of the page. And keywords should also go in other spots of your website, like your meta titles and descriptions, and that's the content that shows up in the Google results. However, this being said, Google needs to be a consideration for your website, but if working in those keywords doesn't come naturally, doesn't sound natural, write for your customer first, not Google. You want to make your customer happy ultimately. Which, while we're talking about writing, let's go into step 3 of my 5-step formula. The part that I think a lot of you have been waiting for is putting pen to paper. This is where you get down and do it. Like I said, it's even for me, this is the hardest part of writing, is getting started. But I've developed a process that I've given a fun little name to that works to help me get started. So I'm going to share that with you. It is called starting with a puke draft. So a puke draft is just a funny little name. I've got kids, so puke is a commonplace in my house. But a puke draft is essentially stream of consciousness writing. It's writing without thinking about what you're writing or grammar or spelling, just getting your ideas out of your head and onto paper. So the process to get started with this is gather your materials. Are you pens and paper, or are you computer like me? Do you feel the need to have a dictionary or a thesaurus nearby, style guides, your business brochures, fact sheets? One thing that I always need to have next to me is water or coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker as a mom and a business owner, so I need to have that to write. The next step is I need to set the mood. I need to feel creative. So for me, setting the mood means turning my colored light on my desk. It means no background music unless it's instrumental, and locations, I need to work at my desk. Some people work better on the couch or at the kitchen table. So find your inspiration zone. And then set a timer. Set a timer for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you have time to do, whatever you think you can do, and just write. Like I said, write, don't look back, don't think about it, don't edit it. This is the puking part of writing your content. So just write what flows from your head. When your timer goes off, if you feel inspired, keep writing. If not, you've got 2 options. You can go grab a coffee, go for a walk, take a break, get some distance from your content, or you can go into and get a massage, which I usually get every 2 weeks, but I'm going to talk about massaging content. So massaging your content, the first step to take that raw brain dump of content is organize all those thoughts into subheadings. And these subheadings you can use on your webpage as well to help organize your thoughts, help with the scanning people. Add supporting details. Now, when you're adding supporting details to your content, think about your unique selling points. Think about emotion or pain points of your customer. For example, if you wrote down, we sell Disneyland vacations, you can add supporting detail by saying, we sell unique Disney vacation experiences that make you feel like a kid again. That speaks to some emotion and a need that people feel to have that unique vacation. Consider the flow between sentences and paragraphs. This is probably, I think, one of the most important things. It helps. If writing doesn't flow when you're reading it, you notice it, and your mind has to work harder to understand your message and understand your story. Excuse me. So consider the flow between the paragraphs. Make sure that each sentence adds something a little bit new to the sentence before, or builds upon what's been said, or moves your story forward somehow. And same thing between paragraphs. Make sure it always moves forward. If you need to go into a completely new idea, add another subheading and start fresh that way. It'll make it sound a lot more natural. And again, when you're massaging your content, put it in that inverted pyramid format. The most important information, that hook, in the first 5.56 seconds. Then consider what you want people to do after they've read this page, this content, this blog post. Do you want them to contact you for consultation? Do you want them to buy a product? Do you want them to read another article to bring them further down the funnel? An interesting stat I read the other day is 70% of small business homepages lack a call to action on their homepage. So that is crucial. Pretty much every page on your site should have some kind of call to action. a buy, a read more, a something. And then again, consider what graphics you're going to be pairing with your content. Do you need to write captions? Do you need to write descriptions about some of these? And make sure that you work that into your content. I've got a little bonus writing tip, and this is where people that are in Diane's book collaboration project may find particularly helpful, but this works for any writing, any genre, any length. If you're aiming for a specific word count and it scares you, if writing 800 words makes you quiver in your boots, here is an easy way to make it a little more digestible for your brain so it doesn't seem so overwhelming of a task. Break it down. So every article is going to need an introduction. Let's make that 100 words. It's going to need a summary and a call to action. There's another 100 words. Now let's say this article that I'm writing is 3 tips to write a kick-ass blog post for your business. Well, 3 tips, 200 words each. There's my 800 words. So by breaking it down, by chunking it down and focusing on each of these sections, that 800 words isn't so scary anymore. So for those that need to write a 200-word story for Diane's book collaboration, think about this. 50 words for an introduction. That's manageable. 50 words to summarize and provide lessons learned. Manageable. And then 100 words to share your story. When you look at it like this, it's not really a lot of content. So when you're writing for any word count, 800 words, 200 words, chunk it down, work in chunks like that, and it makes it so much more manageable. Step 4 is editing for errors and typos and omissions. As much, I'm a fairly confident person myself, but I know that I'm not perfect. I know that there's spelling mistakes that I always make, and some of them are really silly. We all need another pair of eyes to look at our content, but if we don't have someone else to look at our content, it's up to us to self-edit our own work. So I'm going to share my self-editing checklist that you can use to start your own checklist. And please add anything that works for you. We all have different styles. We all have different weaknesses and strengths. So the first one is run a spell check, people. It's there for a reason. It will catch so many of the errors. Next, make a list of your commonly misspelled, mistyped, or those mistaken autocorrect words. So for example, your, and your, or there, and there. If you know that you mix up words like that, write that down and then go through all your content and check for those words. Use and create a style guide. How are you going to spell certain things? Do you hyphenate email or do you not hyphenate email? And then make sure it's consistent in your content. If you have any boilerplate content, your standard one-liner about your business or certain product descriptions, make sure that those are cross-checked for consistency. And again, like we did earlier, read your content to your target customer and see how they react to it. And then sleep on it. When you take a step back from your content, you'll see it with fresh eyes. So if you know a certain word should be there, your mind may read over it when you're reading it back to yourself. So get some distance, get a fresh perspective. And then part of your self-editing checklist is to just publish it. Put it live, put it out there in the world. Check it later, sleep on it, check it later. You may find errors. Murphy's Law is not very good to me, and I'll find the errors after I publish stuff. And then sleep on it again. So the last step is to review and revise. The great thing that I love about online content is it's so easy to revise, to tweak. Nothing's set in stone as much as it is in a newspaper or a magazine. So schedule content reviews. Look at your online content every 3 to 6 months, whatever works for you. You can revisit your blog posts too. You can update them every year with new information, new stats, new insights. And when you redesign your website, which is usually done every couple of years, you'll probably want to refresh your content at that point too. And consider if you want to test new content and see which call to actions work better. And at any time, make sure that you're revising your content based on feedback you get from customers or your analytics. Now, I'm only going to briefly touch this, but here are a couple of website analytics you can look at to gauge how effective your content is. The length people spend on the page, the bounce rate, that's how many people view one page of content before they leave, the number of pages they visit, and how many people submit a form or buy from you. If you want to know more about this, chat with me later and we can go into more detail. But essentially, that's it. So the 5 steps to writing better content in any medium, in any format. Know the 5 W's. Who are you writing for and why are you writing? Understand the medium that you're writing for. If it's online content, it needs to be quick, snappy, to the point. And write naturally. Do that puke draft. Just write whatever comes natural. Don't think about Google if Google's just getting in the way. Edit for errors. Do that self-editing checklist. If you can have someone else edit your content, that's great. And review and revise. So that's really it. As long as you can figure out those 5 steps and take those 5 steps, any content that you write in any format will be improved, and you can start considering yourself a more expert writer every time.
Lots of great content, Ashley. Thank you so much. Right now, I'm just going to double check. If anyone has a question, now is the time to ask it live. If anybody wants, this is your chance. What I'm guessing is, though, because there's lots there, that I'm actually encouraging everyone that while you are here live, that you take one thing that you got from what Ashley was sharing, maybe one of the steps, and then you go back through it and stop and then do the next activity and stop and do the next thing, because she's given you basically the play-by-play to writing some really great content here. So we have a couple comments here. Cora says, thanks, Ashley. Love the tip for writing the book article. Good. Yes. So I know since you referenced that, I just want to be clear. Anyone who's like, what is this thing that she's talking about? So there is an anthology we're putting together for dynamic women and in collaboration with me. And it is the Dynamic Success book. So it's dynamic women are talking about success. So success tips and success stories. So if you want to be in that, please just reach out to me. And Ashley's going to have her hand in making that look really great. Now, Michelle has a question. Any thoughts on how well Grammarly works for editing and spell checking? So the software Grammarly, I can't even say it. Grammarly? Grammarly, there we go. How well does it work for editing and spell checking?
I can't speak to that because I've never used it. I've heard of it. I've heard people that swear by it. But yeah, I really honestly can't say anything about it because I've never used it.
Okay.
Sorry, Michelle.
There you go. Maybe a future blog article idea. There we go. So that's one way you can come up with blog content is what do people ask you about? And then find the answer and make a blog about it. 2 things that really stuck out for me. One that I knew, but it was a great reminder, was personifying basically your avatar. And that helped me to be able to write for that year was, yes, I've written longer, but I mean, just consistently for that year was I imagined that person on the other side, like at their computer reading it and like what their house looks like and what their kids or family were doing or what they just finished and how they were feeling. So I imagined that. And then I spoke straight to her as if we were sitting across from each other at a table. So that for me was huge because then I was like, oh, she wouldn't like this word, or she's feeling this, so I should say this now. So that for me was the great thing. And I forgot that Google's a customer. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Now, for me or for anyone else that is either live with us now or watching the replay, I would be doing a disservice if we didn't say how people could work with you. I know you said there was an early Christmas present, so can you share that with us, Ashley?
I can. Merry Christmas. We turned on the Christmas music yesterday in the house. Shh.
Wow.
Don't yell at me if you don't like it. I like it.
Okay.
But I wanted to offer everyone a early Christmas present from me. Some exciting news in my business. I'm starting to grow, which is really exciting. And I'm tweaking how I handle some of my packages and payment structures. So before I do that on January 1st, I want to let you guys in as some of the last people to get in the current pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone listening today or anyone that's catching the replay before the end of 2018, you can choose to have 6 proofread blog posts. So you write the posts and I'll proofread them for you to help catch some of those silly errors that sometimes come through. Or I will write 3 pages of SEO optimized content for your business. We'll find a keyword that works and I'll write content, fresh content for any page, any blog on your site.
Okay.
And,
now, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just going to ask, what if people want 3 SEO optimized written blogs?
Yeah, we can.
Or original content proofread for their website.
Yeah, I can make a customized package for whatever you'd like.
Perfect.
And I am offering these packages for $350. Now, these rates are probably going up in the new year, so this is the last time I'm offering them at this price.
Okay, good. And that's Canadian?
And all you have to do is just email me, ashley@writergal.ca, or contact me on my website. Doesn't matter, just get a hold of me before the end of the year. Now, I know this is posted online as well, so if you're watching on the replay, I haven't forgotten about you. And I do want to thank you for listening in today. And I've got a special offer for you if you contact me in 2019 or beyond till the end of time, as long as my business is running, is 25% off your first invoice with me for any of my services.
Perfect. Good.
And that's how you can get a hold of me.
Wonderful. Now, we do have one more question, and we are out of time, but I'm going to let you know the question. And then maybe what we could do is, Ashley, what's your, do you prefer Facebook business pages to put out content? Do you prefer your Instagram? What do you prefer?
I use my Facebook business page.
Okay. And what's that called?
I believe it's facebook.com/writergalmarketing.
Perfect.
The link should be in the event for today as well.
Okay, awesome. So the question is, what are the best ways to check for website analytics? So maybe you wouldn't mind, Ashley, sharing that over on your business page. And Brenda, you can find that answer on there. We do have to wrap up. So I thank you so much, Ashley, for all of the content you shared. One more thing. Not only is Ashley helping us, helping out with the Dynamic Women Success book, but she is also helping out with the Dynamic Women blog that's coming. So like 2 sentences, 3 sentences, tell us about it.
Diane is relaunching the Dynamic Women blog in January, and we're looking for bloggers. So if you are a dynamic woman and you want to blog for us, you want to share what makes you dynamic, share insights into your industry that other women would like to know, please shoot me an email at ashley@writergal.ca, and we'll chat about what you need to do to become a blogger. And I hope everyone's excited to see the new blog. There should be blogs almost every week going up that will help you in all areas of your life. So if you want to be involved as a writer, please hit me up and we will chat.
Yeah. And so basically, ladies, it's 3 blogs, and then that will be dripped out over the course of 6 months. So that's your commitment, is 3 blogs, and Ashley will be looking them over. So a great benefit there. Okay. Well, thank you again and again and again. I hope everyone enjoyed it today. I know that there's tons of value in the content you provided, plus in the early Christmas present that you offered everyone. So ladies, I encourage you, get blogging, get writing, just do it, as Ashley said, and go back through, rewatch this to grab more tips. So thanks, Writer Gal. And everybody follow her on all the social media platforms. Okay? Have a wonderful day. Stay dynamic. Bye. Mwah. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.